In a typical coding environment, your codebase is likely integrated with external services like databases, external servers, or API integrations to third-party applications. Now, between you and your team, there are spoken and unspoken rules around how you should engage with these systems, and also rules around how to make changes in your codebases. Now, when you're using Cline to make changes to your codebase, it's important that these rules are shared to Cline so he can navigate your existing setup following the coding standards. Cline allows you to store and organize these rules in a designated section called Cline Rules. And you might be wondering, how do I decide what to put in the Cline Rules section? Just like any new developer that joins your team, any pertinent information that you typically would share with them for onboarding can be outlined as Cline Rules. Common use cases for Cline Rules are coding principles, security practices, documentation guidelines, coding style, and even database schema rules. And like we saw earlier, if your system has an API connections or custom integration outside of your codebase, it's worthwhile to outline how clients should engage with the system as its own designated document in Cline Rules. And similar to how a badly written prompt can lead to poor results, a badly written Cline Rules can also result in inconsistent experience. A common example of this is vaguely written rules like optimize code where possible, or use proper coding technique, or even document where you think it's good. Although Cline will try its best to follow these rules that you have outlined, the problem is that phrases like where possible, proper, and when you think can lead to ambiguous cases that result in rules sometimes engaging and other times not. A better way to optimize this would be this. Optimize code when unit test takes longer than 100 milliseconds, or use solid principles when using classes, and finally, add inline comments when the code is making assumptions. As you can see, these rules are more concrete and doesn't rely on the discretion of the model, but rather an empirical threshold that gets engaged when it meets that criteria. Another example of a badly written Cline rule is conflicting rules where two rules contradict each other. For example, if your coding principle says use camel case for class names, while your coding style document says use snake case for class names, the two are now in direct conflict with each other and can lead to inconsistent experience. Instead, you can cast a wider net for generic rules like use camel case for class names, while keeping language-specific rules like for Python code, keep all class names in snake case. That way, the rules actually complement each other instead of getting in each other's way. As your use cases for Cline grows, it's important to treat Cline Rules as a living document. Requirements and standards change all the time, and as your underlying code base matures, it's important to keep these rules up to date and configured properly to get more consistent results from Cline. Keep in mind that Cline Rule section is designated for rules around your code base rather than business requirements, which belongs in a separate area called Cline Docs. Cline Rule is a powerful way to onboard Cline to your team and think and behave just like everyone else. Once they're set up correctly, Cline will now be better equipped to help you with your coding tasks while staying within the parameters of your organization's preferences.